Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK back at you with another video here. We're on the 10-game NBA main slate on Friday. A couple things before I get into the video. If you're new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos talking about NBA DFS as well as NFL DFS. I'm also running a weekly $20 giveaway on my channel. How it works is all you have to do is leave a like and a comment in the video. It's one entry in the giveaway. Max one comment per video. So it started with my Monday Night Showdown video that I uploaded last week. We'll go throughout this week and we'll end my Monday Night Showdown video at the end of the week. So however many videos I've uploaded for the week, and the giveaway that many times. So if I have 10 videos uploaded for the week, and the giveaway 10 times. And again, the winner receives $20 PayPal for myself. But with that out of the way, let's jump into the video. So first, let's look back at my lineup here from Thursday night. So this is what I went with: DeJounte Murray, Pat Beverly, Joe Ingles, Montrez, Rudy Gobert, Lou Williams, Chris Middleton, and Clint Capella. So, if you guys watch the video live stream, I was hinting at, a kind of contrarian, only mid-tier build, which is what I went with. If you guys watched the live stream, you knew if I was going to spend up, it was either going to be like Giannis or one of those Lakers guys. Both Giannis, LeBron, and AD all had really solid games, but I just really like the mid-tier. The value guys we talked about, Pat Beverly, I know he's going to be pretty chalky. George Hill had a really good game. But yeah, like I said, the Utah guys, Ingles and Gobert, I liked the whole starting five basically. Everyone did pretty solid. DeJounte Murray doing pretty well for 5.7K. Middleton was a little disappointing, but he did get his fourth foul right away to start the second half and missed out on like 8 or 9 minutes. So got a bit unlucky there. If he plays those normal 8 minutes there in the third quarter, he probably definitely gets us there. And then I played Lou Williams, Montrez, Clint Capella, and Beverly in this late game. So we'll see how it goes. But that's basically what I did for Thursday night. So let's talk about Friday. All right. Let's see. So 10 games. I think we got the over-unders and spreads out for 5 right now, so let's talk about it. Grizzlies, Cavs sitting at 224. The Grizzlies favored by 1. Sorry, about to sneeze there. Mavericks, 76ers at 213.5, with the 76ers favored by 8.5. Knicks, Heat at 214. The Heat favored by 10. Magic, Trailblazers, 216, with the Trailblazers favored by 3.5. And late night hammer here, Pelicans, Warriors at 225, with the Pelicans favored by 1. So I was just take a brief overview here of the prices. Draftkings did a pretty good job of pricing everyone. No one really stands out as a great play. Obviously, we've got to talk about the Toronto guys. I think really the optimal build as of right now is to load up in the Toronto guys. But we'll start center here. So Cat at the top at 10.8K, still listed as questionable. If he misses, we could look to Gorgie Jang, but Draftkings again did a good job. They priced him up. So if Cat plays at this price in a tough spot, still don't think I would do it. But if he misses, that's a boost to guys like Wiggins and Jeff Teague. But again, they're priced accordingly. It's a tough spot against Denver, so not super high on these Minnesota guys. Joel Embiid at 10K, stands out as a decent option. I still think he's a little bit underpriced. I think he's more of a 10.5K player. He has the most upside of any of those Philly guys. He can get 50, 60, even like 65 on a really good night. So I think he's definitely in play at that price. Drummond, we have Blake Griffin listed as doubtful, so that's pretty big news. Drummond gets a pretty big boost with no Blake. And if Detroit's going to stay in this game, he's probably going to have a big game. Again, Boston kind of struggles guarding big, so I do have some interest in Andre Drummond as well there at 9.6K. So the Toronto guys, we got no Marcus Gasol, no Siakam, and no Norman Powell. So there is just so much minutes and usage to go around. Again, I'll talk about the Toronto guys in a bit here. Jokic at 9.4, I think he's a bit underpriced as well. And it's a good spot no matter what, whether it be Cat or Gorgie Jang. Right now, for his level of production, again, he's underpriced. So I do have some interest in Jokic as well. Bam Adebayo at 8.9K. This is a good spot against the Knicks. The concern is the Knicks seem to get blown out almost every night. And it's at Miami. He's 9K. I mean, I love Bam. You guys knew coming into the season, I was all about Bam. He's going to have a breakout year, and he's had the breakout year, right? So I like him as a player. I'm a little bit worried about the blowout, especially if you're playing cash games. I don't think I could do it. Kristaps at 8.5K, so he's just been the main guy with no Luka. He's had 50 fantasy points in 3 straight games. This is a really bad spot against Philly, but I think he's a contrarian GPP play. Again, I don't think I can do it for cash games. Whiteside, another guy who's just been great. 50, 59, 35, and 50 fantasy points the last 4 games. This is not really the best spot, but the price is okay. So I think he's definitely still viable. Sabonis at 8.4K. He's just really safe. We know he's going to get like 35 or so minutes. We know he's basically going to get a double-double every night. And, yeah, I think he's a lock for like 35 to 50-ish, right? Somewhere in that range. So I have no issue if you want to go there. I think he's priced about right? I don't think he's a great play, but I don't think he's a bad play if you land on him. Vucevic at 8.1K. The minutes are starting to go back up after the injury, 33 in back-to-back nights, so that is good to see. But the price also came up to 8.1K. It's a decent matchup here, but another one where it's just like, not going to go out of my way to play him. Now, we got no DeAndre Ayton here, so that is pretty big news. Kaminsky, Aaron Baines, and Sarge all get a boost. So we'll talk about them here in a bit. Serge Ibaka, so like I said, DraftKings did a really good job pricing him up with no Marc Gasol. But then now we got the news that just came out with no Siakam and no Norman Powell. So I know the price came up on Ibaka, but I still really like him here just because Toronto is so thin, and this is literally the best possible spot. So I know the price came up, but I still really like Ibaka there. Kevin Love at 7.2K. This Cleveland-Memphis game intrigues me. I think it was a lot lower owned, or just not a lot of people play guys in this game, I should say. So it's an interesting game to maybe stack for GPPs, a contrarian game stack, right? So Kevin Love, the price is coming up, but the issue with him always is whether or not Cleveland can keep it close. Memphis, not the best team, so I think this game has a good chance of staying close. So I think he is someone you definitely can consider, even at an elevated price point. Randall at 7.1K has been really good, but this is a spot where I'm definitely worried about the blowout, right? So I don't know if I can get to it. He is, they have him listed as questionable, but he is expected to play. Jonas Valanciunas, he can get you there in limited time. He has in back-to-back games 25 and 26 minutes. It's just he doesn't have the upside right now to play 30 because they got Clark, they got Jaren Jackson Jr., so that is the concern. I think it makes him only a GPP option. Same thing with Jaren Jackson Jr. Blake Griffin is doubtful, so that's pretty big, right? I already talked about Drummond. That's a huge boost to him. We can look to a guy like Markieff, but he's priced up. So really my main target there on Detroit is Drummond. Horford's always a guy. If you get to him, it's fine. He's a safe option. Probably get you 25 to 35, but I'm not going to go out of my way to play him. Let's see, Tristan Thompson, kind of the same thing with Kevin Love, right? The downside of them is they always get blown out, but in close games they will get over 30 minutes. So no issue with Tristan Thompson, no issue with Kevin Love. Let's see. Washington, we still got no Rui, we still got no Thomas Bryant, still no Wagner, so they're really, really thin up front. Kaminsky at 5.7K, so he stands out as a pretty decent option. He's been good even in limited time. But now we got no DeAndre Ayton, so I think those minutes will go up maybe to like 25 to 30. The issue is they still have Aaron Baines, who they want to give minutes to too, so it's not like he's a lock to play huge minutes, but I still have some interest there at that price. Bagley, I can't go there yet until he's going to be lifted from that minutes limit. So, if he gets inserted in the starting lineup and there's no minutes limit, then I would really like him, but if he's going to be still limited to like 22 minutes a game, I can't do it. Again, Clark has been decent, but he limits the upside of Jonas Valanciunas and Jaren Jackson Jr. Bobby Portis, they priced him way up. I guess I thought maybe Julius Randle would be out. I mean, obviously, if Randle is out, you could look to Bobby Portis, but I'm definitely worried about the blowout in that one. Still no Marc Gasol, too. Toronto's really thin. Miles Turner, don't mind him at that price, 5.3K. 26 and 32 minutes in back-to-back games, 41 and 33 fantasy points. He's very up and down, though. And he's a guy that has to kind of get you blocks to get you there. Like that game he had 41, he had 5 blocks. So if he gets like multiple blocks, he probably can get you there, 5.3K. So a little risky just because he's kind of reliant, honestly, on blocks for fantasy points. Again, still no Mo Wagner. No Christian Wood as well. That's somewhat big news, right? Drummond's just going to have to play huge minutes. Let's see. Favors, I don't mind about this price if he's not going to be limited, but they've limited to 20 minutes in 3 straight games. So if he's lifted from that minutes limit, I would have a lot of interest in him. But until then, I can't do it. Markieff Morris, again, he's a good option with no Blake Griffin, no Christian Wood, but they priced him up to $5K, where it's like, I don't feel great about that. Gorgie Jang, again, DraftKings priced him up. They did well. If Cat misses, you can look to him, but he probably only gets about 25 or so minutes. So, yeah, again, at that price, I'm not super excited about it. Mahimi at 4.7K probably gets about 25 minutes. Doesn't have huge upside though. Jackson Hayes kind of still tilting to that when he got in foul trouble, only played 14 minutes. Normally, he's a guy that will get about 25 or so. If Favors is still on that minutes limit. Paul Millsap actually stands out as a decent play at this price. I'm not a huge Paul Millsap guy, but at 4.6K, he's a guy that probably gets 25-ish minutes. I think he stands out as a decent value play. Let's see. Enes Kanter intrigues me here. Again, they're going to need someone to guard Drummond. I don't think Tice plays like 30 minutes, so Kanter's always a guy you can look to GPPs, and he is a guy that, if he gets over 20 minutes, he can definitely get you there. So the issue with him is just you never really know when he's going to play, over 20, but he's played over 20 in back-to-back games. So I do have some interest there, but I think it's only for GPPs. So I don't even know how to pronounce this guy's name. I'm not going to try it. Paznix? Yeah. But he played 28 minutes in that game just because Washington is so thin up front. They literally have no other center besides Mahimi. So, if he gets 28 minutes again, you can consider it, but I can't feel confident targeting him. I don't think he plays 28 minutes again. Now, Aaron Baines at this price at 4.2K does intrigue me as well. No DeAndre Ayton. I think those minutes go up, maybe to about 20 or so. If he picks up a start, then I would have even more interest. So that's something we have to monitor. Who starts between Kaminsky and Baines? Whoever starts, I think, has the upside for more minutes. So that is something that we have to monitor. But Baines is $1,300 cheaper. Tice, again, I think I'll just prefer taking a shot at Kanter. He just has more upside in my opinion. Let's see, like Powell and Kleber, they're going to need these guys to guard Embiid. They're both under 4K. You can look to them. Like I don't mind them as value plays. But one of the guys that really stands out here is Chris Boucher at 3.3K. Whenever you can project this guy to get minutes, that's when you want to target him. I was all over him in the preseason. It's just this guy just crushes when he gets minutes. And right now, they're really thin up front. They only have Ibaka basically, so Boucher's going to have to play pretty solid minutes in my opinion. He could start too. We'll see what they do. If he comes off the bench, I still think he gets probably about 20 or so minutes. So I love him at this price. One of my favorite value plays at 3.3K. And that's what I got. So let's move on to power forward. Ingram at the top at 8.7 kind of bailed me out that last night with 56 fantasy points. Another really good spot here against Golden State. So I don't mind going right back to the well here. This is a game that should stay close. 2 bad teams, 2 bad defenses. It's a high over-under game. So I do have some interest, even at an elevated price point for Brandon Ingram. Let's see. Tatum, the Boston guys, you can look to them if Hayward gets ruled out once again. I think, Tatum, Brown, Kemba all stand out as pretty solid plays. Ibaka, I know the price is up, but Toronto's just super thin. I really like him, even at an elevated price point. Tobias Harris, kind of the same thing with Al Horford. If you land on him, it's fine. Not going to go out of my way to play him. Now, Bertans at 6.9K, I do have some interest in him. He's just a guy that is going to play huge minutes, right? They're just super thin. I know it's a tougher spot, but he's going to get over 35 minutes. He's going to shoot the ball a ton. The one downside I always bring up with him is he is somewhat scoring dependent. So if he's not knocking down those threes, then it can hurt you, right? He was 7 of 13 from 3. So that's basically his game, is the three-point line. But, yeah, like I said, right now we know he's going to get huge minutes. Let's see. Other options. Aaron Gordon at 6.3K. Don't mind him. It's a up-tempo game against Portland. He's been a bit up and down, but the upside is there. The prices start, 6.3K is okay. Not super excited about that. Gordon Hayward, again, this is something we have to monitor. If he misses, it's obviously those big three we can look to with Kemba, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown. I really wouldn't consider targeting anyone else in that Boston team besides maybe Cantor for GPPs. Melo at 5.9. He's been really good. He really has, and the price actually came down a bit. I know it's not a great spot, but it's not a terrible spot either. So I think he's viable. I probably won't get to him, but I get it if you want to go there. Covington, so those Minnesota guys we can look to if Cat misses, but it's a really tough spot. So like I said, you can consider him, those guys, if Cat misses, but a really, really bad spot here on the road against Denver. OG Anunoby, it's like I just want to load up on Toronto guys. I really do. It's the best possible spot. I love Ibaka. I love Boucher. I love OG. I'm just heavy Toronto right now. I really think that's the optimal way to go as it stands Thursday night. Sarge is a guy that probably gets a slight boost with no Ayton. I think he gets maybe a few extra minutes. So he's someone we can consider. Let's see, Pascal probable. Like I said, I was worried about his minutes, and I was kind of right? He only played 18 minutes. It's just, don't think I can do it until I see him play more minutes. T.J. Warren is questionable with an illness. That's, somewhat big news. If he misses, we could look at a guy like Justin Holiday, but they kind of priced him up as well. Derrick Jones Jr., he's been decent, but his price is coming up. I'm not super excited about that. Rondé Hollis Jefferson. So I love him too, right? It's just all about the Toronto guys. We'll see who they end up starting. There's two guys. Ibaka is most likely going to start. So I think their starting lineup will be Lowry, OG, and Ibaka. That we know. The other two guys kind of up in the air. I think maybe RJ starts at the 4, and then Ibaka at the 5. They bring Boucher at the bench, and then they start like Davis or McCaw at the 2. If Fred VanVleet misses 2, again, he is questionable, so he could play. But either way, like I said, I love all these Toronto guys. RJ at that price. Again, we got to see what they end up doing in the starting lineup. But either way, it's just such a good spot that I really think you just load up on Toronto. McDermott is the guy that might get a little extra run with no if T.J. Warren misses, but I just can't be confident targeting him. I already talked about my love for Boucher, right? Whenever you can project him to get minutes, he's the guy you really want to get to for DFS. But that looks about it. So let's move on to small forward. Still no Luka. Jimmy Butler, kind of my same thing with Bam. I don't think I can do it for cash games because of the potential of the blowout, right? It's a good spot, but I think it's only for GPPs. I really don't think we can go there for cash games. Again, I do have a good amount of interest in Ingram. Don't mind Wiggins, but 8K. Yeah, him. It's really him, Teague, and Covington that I would look to if Cat misses, but I still don't feel great about it. Ben Simmons under 8K, that does seem like a pretty appealing price. He's been a bit up and down, right? 25, 55, 36, 38. The thing is the minutes have been pretty solid. Right? The game against Brooklyn blew out. But other than that, 36, 38, 42 minutes. He's a guy that fills up the stat sheet. So no issue there if you want to get to him at 7.9. See, Jaylen Brown, like I said, him, Jason Tatum, and Kemba Walker, we can all look to if Gordon Hayward does miss. Oubre at 6.7K, don't mind him here. I believe Booker is still questionable. He's still questionable. So if he misses, that would be a usage boost to Kelly Oubre and no DeAndre Ayton, right? So that is something we have to monitor. I would have more interest in Oubre if Booker ends up missing that game. Gallinari, the OKC guys always are viable. It's a decent spot. No one ever stands out as a great play to me on the OKC side. Like everyone just seems priced right. I liked Schroeder back a few weeks ago when he was underpriced, but now his price is coming up too. Draymond Green played 29 minutes, so that's good to see. He got close, basically 30. This is the up-tempo game, so I do have some interest, but the price also came up too, right, from 5.8 to 6.5. So, yeah, I don't mind him, but I don't think he's like the best play. Will Barton stands out as a pretty decent option in my opinion. He's just playing huge minutes in close games, like about 35 plus. He fills up the stat sheet. This is a really good spot. There is some concern if Cat misses that this game could blow out for sure, but I think he stands out as a pretty decent option if that game stays close. Let's see. Other options. Buddy Hield. I know like everyone's coming back for Sacramento, but that price seems a little bit too cheap. Probably won't get to him, but I get it if you want to go there because of that price. Let's see. So Josh Richardson did get 30. He went from 24 to 37 that last game. He's had 2 really good games in those revenge games against Miami. If his minutes are back to normal, like 35 plus, then you got to have interest in him. But I think I need to see that consistently before I can target him confidently. Luke Kennard also, he is doubtful. So Detroit is just really thin, right? No Blake Griffin, no Christian Wood, most likely no Luke Kennard. So I will talk about some Detroit guards here because Luke Kennard was a guy that was playing big minutes, about 35 or so a game. So I will talk about some Detroit guys here. Hart, Reddick, these are guys I usually looked. Hart, Reddick, and Lonzo are usually guys that miss too if like 1 or 2 of those guys are out. With everyone healthy, no one really stands out there. Hardaway Jr., the secondary Dallas pieces, it's a really bad spot, and they're just so up and down. Again, I don't think I can target him confidently. Other options, let's see. Justin Holiday, like I said, you can look there if TJ Warren misses, but they did a good job pricing him up to 4.6K. So Damian Lee, I thought his minutes would go down a bit more. Still got 25 in that game. So if he's going to continue to get like about 25, to 30 minutes at this price in a good matchup, I do have some interest. The concern is Golden State just has a lot of guys that can use, so I don't think those minutes are necessarily secure. Pat McCaw, played 27 minutes, was really bad in that game against Detroit, but he will probably be asked to play some decent minutes, right? So I would have some interest. I wouldn't be as confident in him just because he's a lower usage guy. I think I prefer Terrence Davis, similar price. And that's assuming Fred VanVleet is out. This is all assuming Fred VanVleet is out. But that's basically it. So let's move on to shooting guard. Let's see. Beal at 9.1K. Sorry. The thing with him is he's just going to play the big minutes. 35 plus. This is not really the best spot, but Toronto's missing a lot of guys, so there is a better chance this game stays close. If you're running all those Toronto guys in your lineup, maybe run it back with Beal. I think Beal and Bertans would be the 2 guys that I have the most confidence in on the Washington side. Drew Holiday at 8.6. He had a bad shooting night in Minnesota, 5 of 20. Still put up 30. I mean, that's really not good, but he shot the ball terribly. Him and Ingram are the really 2 guys that the most interested. I know they're priced up, but really good spot against Golden State. We just saw what Portland, the big 3 with Whiteside, Lillard, and CJ all crushed it in that last game. So I do have some interest there in those New Orleans guys, mainly the big 2 of Drew and Ingram. Booker, that is something we have to monitor. We got no Aiden. If Booker misses, Rubio, we can look to Kelly Oubre, even like maybe Mikal Bridges. Let's see, D'Angelo Russell. So he got 33 minutes. This is a really good spot. So I have some interest in D'Angelo Russell as well. I think an interesting game stack game stack would be D'Angelo Russell, Drew Holiday, and then Brandon Ingram, and then run it back with some of those value Toronto guys. Wouldn't mind that at all. So I do have some interest there in D'Angelo Russell, a good amount. Fred VanVleet, so He's missed the last, like 5 or so games. Said he's going to be a game time decision. We'll see. If he misses, then that's why I say load up on those Toronto guys. If he plays, that definitely takes a hit to those guards. I would still like the bigs in like RHJ and Boucher and Ibaka. But, if Fred VanVleet does end up playing, that would be a slight hit to OG, a slight hit to Lowry, but basically would kind of take those value guys out of play with like McCaw and Terrence Davis. So that is something we'll have to monitor. Malcolm Brogdon at this price, don't mind it. I think he stands out as a safe option here. SGA, again, if you get to these OKC guys, don't mind it. They never really stand out as great plays to me. CJ's been really good in back-to-back games, 50 and 43 fantasy points. The price still isn't moving. So I don't mind CJ, and we know he's going to get 35-plus minutes. Jamal Murray, talk about liking him and Will Barton that last game. Jamal Murray had 41. The price didn't really, move $400. This is a really up-tempo game. The concern is the slight possibility of blow-up. I do have some interest still in Jamal Murray at that price. Kendrick Nunn, these Miami guys, I don't think I can target them confidently for cash games. Now, that's not saying you can't go there for GPPs. I'm not saying like completely cross these Miami guys off. Like Bam, Jimmy Butler, Kendrick Nunn, some of those value guys, you can 100% go there if you think the Knicks keep it close. But that's a big question mark for me. So that's why I can't do it for cash games. Brunson has been pretty solid here with no Doncic. 34, 32, 31 minutes, 38, 37, 36 fantasy points. He's filling up the stat sheet. It's a tough spot, but I think he's a decent option right now. I have confidence. I think he probably gets close to 30 again from what we've seen in the last 3 games. Schroeder, so like I said, I always liked him when he was cheaper. The price is coming up now, 6.2K. I know he had a good game the last game. Did shoot the ball really well. I had 31 real-life points. So I don't mind it. It's a good spot. I just don't think he stands out as really a great play here. Derrick Rose, so he definitely gets a boost with no Blake Griffin as well as with no Luke Kennard. Now, I don't think he's going to play 35 minutes, but I think he gets close to 30 and is going to be the number 2 in the offense with Drummond. So even in a tough spot, I do have a good amount of interest here in Derrick Rose at that price. Other options, so Alec Burks actually has been getting decent minutes. So the game against Sacramento did blow out, so everyone kind of got limited. But before that, 33, 30, and 33. So it looks like Alec Burks is, kind of locked into those minutes, even though they have a lot of guys. So if he's going to continue to play over 30 minutes and be aggressive as he is, right, 14, 16, 20 shots, I have a good amount of interest in Alec Burks at this price. Now, there is, again, the slight concern is they do have a lot of guys, not everyone healthy, but just going off what we've seen recently, if he gets 30 minutes again, I like him a good amount at that price. Let's see, other options. Bruce Brown at 5.1K. He definitely gets a minutes bump, in my opinion, with no Luke Kennard. I think he probably gets about 30 or so. Don't mind him. Again, I think my preferred targets on Detroit would be Drummond and D. Rose. I just feel the most confident with those guys. Markelle Fultz's price has now come down under 5K. Don't mind him. Not a guy with huge upside, but I get it if you want to go there. Bridges, I would look there, if Booker misses. Not a super high usage guy, but you could look to as a value play. Now, Seth Curry is questionable. That is pretty big. I believe DeLon Wright questionable as well. So if both Seth Curry and DeLon Wright miss, then I would really, really like J.J. Barea. I'll talk about him in a bit because I think he would have to play pretty big minutes, and he's always a guy that when he gets minutes is usually really productive. So that's something we do have to keep an eye on there. Let's see, other options, not a whole lot standing out here. Oh, so Terrence Davis. So, yeah, I think I'd feel more confident with him over a guy like Patrick McCaw if Fred VanVleet misses, but we'll see. We'll see who they end up starting. Either way, I think his minutes will have to go up. So, yeah, it's something we have to keep an eye on for sure. Yeah, so DeLon Wright is questionable as well. Again, if both those guys miss, there's a lot of minutes to go around. And I think J.J. Barea would probably be the biggest beneficiary. Let's see, where is, I think he's the minimum price. Where is he? He's literally the flat minimum. Now, he hasn't played the last few games, but look, like in this game against Miami, 13 minutes, 23 fantasy points. If both those guys are out, I think he has to play the minutes. I think he has to probably get about 20. and then he would be one of my favorite value plays. So that's something we have to keep an eye on with those Dallas guys. But that is basically it. So let's move on to point guard here. Lillard, again, all those Portland guys had a really good game against Golden State. It's 61. Finally, the huge upside game. We haven't seen that from Lillard in a while. Again, I think like Melo being in the starting lineup kind of capped his upside a little bit, but finally broke out for a big game. The price is decent. The matchup's decent, right? I think he's a perfectly fine play if you get there. Kyle Lowry, so I know the price is up on him, but this is such a good spot. They're missing so many guys. I think I still go to Kyle Lowry here just because he's going to play huge minutes. If Fred VanVleet does come back, that is a slight hit to him, so that is something we will have to keep an eye on. Let's see, Kemba, the price is creeping up on him. I would still have some interest if Gordon Hayward misses. I don't think he's like the smash spot like he was at 7.4K. John Morant's price is coming up. Don't mind that, but doesn't stand out as a great play. Chris Paul has been really solid. Again, if you get there, that's fine, but I'm not going to go out of my way to play Chris Paul. Rubio, I do like a decent amount here, especially if Devin Booker misses. So, yeah, that's something we have to monitor going into tomorrow. Had a bad shooting night there, 2 of 12, but he is a guy that fills up the stat sheet and would definitely get a big usage bump with if Devin Booker is not able to go. De'Aaron Fox came off the bench and still played 30 minutes, was really solid in that time. They said he's still going to be limited, so I assume that's 30, right? Because if he plays more than that, it's not really a minutes limit, in my opinion. I think you can only go there for GPPs. I like the price. It's a slight concern that he's not going to play like 35-plus minutes in a close game. So I don't mind the price. I think he's only for GPPs, though, for me. Other options, Teague was a huge letdown. I think he's like 100% owned in like all my cash games. 34 minutes, 1 of 8, just a terrible shooting night. Again, you could look to Wiggins, him, and Covington if Cat misses, but I still wouldn't feel great about it. I think the optimal way to go is just load up on those Toronto guys. Other options, again, I do like Alec Burks at that price. Lonzo, with him, J.J. Redick, and Josh Hart all healthy, all no one's injured. No one stands out as a great play. IT at 5.1, got 31 minutes. I think the game did go to overtime, so he was on pace for 26 minutes, I guess. Don't mind him at that price. But I think that's basically it. So yeah, let's talk about the Washington guys before I get out of here once again, or the Toronto guys, I should say. So I think the cash game way to go is probably just load up on these guys, right? So Davis or McCaw, whoever ends up starting. Let's plug in Davis for now. OG, Hollis Jefferson, Ibaka, and even like Boucher maybe. That might be too much. Maybe take out Terrence Davis. And this is if Fred VanVleet misses. I would probably honestly start a lineup like that, and then go from there. You got 7K remaining. You could get some of those guys from Golden State and New Orleans. You could get Drummond in there. Maybe some of those Phoenix guys, or that's kind of my thoughts as of right now. So really, like you could run it back with Beal and Bertans if you want to do the full game stack. Don't mind that either, but that's kind of something where I'm leaning towards as of right now. And that's if Fred VanVleet if he misses. If Fred VanVleet plays, that does take a hit to a little bit to Lowry, a little bit to OG, but I would still like RHJ, Ibaka, and Boucher a lot just because they're super thin up front. But I think that's going to do it for today's video, guys. So if you have been enjoying the content, would really appreciate if you could like this video and subscribe. Again, it's all free content, the videos, the live streams, me answering your guys' questions on Twitter. Unfortunately, I will not be able to live stream for this slate. Going to be on the train back to Michigan, heading home for Christmas. But I can maybe possibly tweet out my player pool like I've done when I'm not able to live stream on Twitter if you guys are interested in that. But yeah, that's it. So thanks again, guys, for coming and checking the video. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you guys later.